And welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. You're joining me, Devi Paldano. Now, before we head into your stories in more detail, let's first take a look at your headlines this afternoon. Cyclone Burevi leaves the island. The prison inmate who escaped from the Ragama hospital arrested in Urugodawatta. Mayor of the Matale Council, Daljit Aluvihare, removed from his post. Now, we reported yesterday that Cyclone Burevi made landfall in Sri Lanka, bringing with it strong gusts, winds and rain. Now, we are crossing over to Chaturanga Hapwarachi in our very own newsroom to give us the very latest updates on what is going on right now. Chaturanga?
Thank you, David. As we discussed from yesterday, Cyclone Burevi that made landfall from the eastern coast has now left the island. That is the latest update we have. According to the director of the Met Department, Meryl Mendes, now the cyclonic system is located about 50 kilometers away in the western sea of Mannar. That is the latest location of the cyclonic situation. And in the 24 hours that ended at 8:30 a.m. this morning, there was a very high rainfall in the Kilinochchi area, especially in the Akkarayan area, and the value stood at 279.8 millimeters of rainfall in that particular region. Chavakacheri had 260 millimeters and Jaffna had 245.1 millimeters of rain as a result of this cyclonic situation that was passing through the country. Now, yesterday we knew that this was going to make landfall, especially from the area between Trincomalee and the northern province, and we knew that it made landfall from the Mullaitivu area. However, our reporters are still standing by in the Trincomalee area, where it was initially predicted it would make a landfall. Let's now quickly cross over to Senitha Senanayake, who is standing by in Trincomalee, to get the latest update from there.
Winds and rough seas. However, by today, the weather patterns have turned into a slightly favorable one. Today, even though this morning we saw a sullen sky, by now the sky has turned into a very bright one, and the seas have gotten a bit calmer, and in terms of the showery condition, it has reduced drastically, and the strong winds too have gotten calmer. By now we have gotten reports that the majority of the 600 families that took refuge in relief centers last night have started leaving for their houses, and moreover, when we spoke to the fishermen of this area, they told us that they're getting ready to resume their livelihood. With Shamindra Ratnayaka, I'm Senitha Senanayake reporting for News First.
Thank you, Senator. We hope to see you back in Colombo soon, now that the situation is turning out to be better, especially in the Trincomalee area. However, the situation in the north and the eastern province were not so. We had the cyclonic situation had created some issues in the region. We'll now draw your attention to some of the reports that we received, especially from the north.
The Burevi cyclone made landfall in Sri Lanka's eastern coast last evening, bringing down heavy downpours in the north central and eastern provinces. By 8:30 a.m. today, the Tunukkai area in the Mullaitivu district had received the highest rainfall in the country, with water levels hitting 392 millimeters. The Department of Meteorology has cautioned that rough seas can be experienced around the country due to the impact of the cyclone. Accordingly, fishermen have been strictly warned against going out to sea. Issuing an advisory, the Weather Authority predicted that low-lying areas from Punerin to Puttalam could be inundated due to a rise in sea levels. Authorities have commenced a program to offer relief for families that were affected by the cyclone in the Jaffna district. District Secretary G. Maheshan said more than 2,100 individuals belonging to 650 families have been affected due to the inclement weather. He added that 30 houses had sustained complete damages, while 200 houses were partially damaged as the cyclone entered the country packed with strong gusts of winds. Several low-lying areas in the Jaffna district have also been inundated. Meanwhile, river water levels in the Kilinochchi district have also surged following heavy downpours experienced yesterday. District Secretary Rupavati Kethishwaran said that families residing in the vicinity of rivers have been urged to exercise caution due to this situation. The District Disaster Management Centre unit said that several families residing in the coastal areas of the Pattu Divisional Secretariat in the Mullaitivu district have been evacuated towards safe shelters. Mullaitivu District Secretary Kadir Gamal Thambi Vimalanathan said that 108 families in the Kokila area were moved towards safer locations. This was after the district's reservoirs had reached spill level. Meanwhile, brackish water had entered the Malipuram area in the Puttalam district due to rough tidal waves experienced at around 3 a.m. today. Our correspondent reported that brackish water with more salinity had entered 100 meters into the land. Several houses in the vicinity of a lagoon in the area have been inundated due to the adverse weather. Our correspondents reported that rough waves continue to be witnessed off the coast of Thoduwava in Maravilla. Fishermen in Chilau refrained from going out to sea after strong winds blew across the area, bringing down heavy showers at around 7 a.m. today. Irrigation engineers said 3 sluice gates in the Mahaveli Dam were opened to control any possibility of flooding in the central region due to intermittent showers.
Over the last 24 hours, we have been reporting to you the situation pertaining to Burevi and how it will impact Sri Lanka as a country. And for that purpose, all the stakeholders who are monitoring these situations, especially the Med Department, the Disaster Management Centre, the 3 armed forces and all these stakeholders were very supportive in bringing the information to the general public while thanking these institutions and reminding their and commending their services as well. Let me hand things over back to David from the main studio.
Thank you, Chaturanga. Of course, you can stay tuned with News First as we bring you the very latest updates about the aftermaths that may hit the country as a result of this storm. Now, moving on to more headline-making stories. Central Province Governor Lalit U. Gamage has taken steps to remove the mayor of the Matale Municipal Council, Daljit Aluvihare, from his post. The extraordinary gazette notification on the removal was issued last night. It said the move was in line with the final report of the one-man commission of inquiry appointed to probe into the allegations against the mayor. It is said the relevant report had revealed Daljit Aluvihare had carried out several misdeeds according to Article 277, Clause 1 of the amended Municipal Council Ordinance as the mayor of the Municipal Council, Matale. Sri Lanka's tally of COVID-19 infections rose to 25,410 following the detection of 878 cases yesterday. According to the Health Ministry, the total recoveries from COVID-19 in the country rose to 18,304 after 487 individuals recuperated yesterday. Official figures show that 6,982 individuals infected by the virus are under medical care. Yesterday, authorities confirmed that 2 individuals who died on the 30th of last month had contracted the virus. The deceased included a 66-year-old female in Chilau and a 67-year-old resident of Colombo 13. Issuing a statement, the Department of Government Information said the woman had died upon admission to the Chilau hospital. The reason for her death has been identified as a heart attack caused by COVID-19. According to the statement, the male resident of Colombo 13 had died in his residence due to pneumonia and a stroke caused due to the virus. The death toll due to COVID-19 in the country stands at 124. Russian ambassador to Sri Lanka, Yuri Materi, called on the governor of the Eastern Province, Anuradha Yahampath, yesterday.
The meeting took place at the Eastern Province Governor's office last afternoon. The Russian ambassador's meeting with the governor of the Eastern Province took place when the former visited the Trincomalee port to engage in an observational tour of the Russian warships that are anchored at the Trincomalee port.
The Russian ambassador engaged in an observation tour of the Russian warship which are anchored at the Trincomalee port. Our meeting took place thereafter. There are many proposed energy projects for the eastern provinces. We briefed the ambassador on these projects and he agreed to find foreign investors to invest in these projects. We believe that we will have many projects with Russia in the future.
Now, in another one of a headline making stories, the inmate at the Mahara prison who had escaped while receiving treatment at the Ragama hospital after sustaining injuries in the recent unrest was arrested in Orugodavatta this morning. Director of the Ragama hospital, Dr. Shelton Pereira, said the inmate had escaped the hospital premises last night. The director added that a PCR test was carried out on the inmate and the result of the test was due to be received. A drug addict who was injured in the Mahara prison unrest escaped from the Ragama hospital last night, and the intelligence unit of the prisons department arrested him in Orugodavatta this morning. Currently, he has been admitted to the prison hospital where he will undergo a PCR test. The situation inside the prison has returned to normalcy. 14 inmates of the Mahara prison are currently receiving treatment at the Ragama hospital. Views about the Mahara prison unrest were expressed in Parliament today.
2020 දින විට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ බන්ධනාගාර තුල
By the 29th of November, there were 28,541 inmates in Sri Lanka's prisons. Out of them, 20,723 were remand prisoners, while 7,818 had been convicted. There are 2,891 inmates at the Mahara prison. This includes 2,059 remand prisoners and 732 convicted inmates. 28 inmates injured during the unrest are receiving treatment at the Colombo North Teaching Hospital, 1 at the Colombo National Hospital and 24 at the Valikata Prison Hospital. 53 inmates have been brought back to the Mahara prison. 2 injured officials are receiving treatment at the Colombo North Teaching Hospital. The prisons department had released a video of the incident. It showed how brawls had broken out between the inmates themselves. PCR tests have been carried out on 11,500 prisoners in the country. Steps have been taken to conduct rapid antigen tests as well. Antibody tests will be carried out on inmates before they are released from prison. We are carrying out random PCR tests on inmates and prison officers as well.
තීරණය කර ඇත. අහඹු ලෙස තෝරාගත් රැඳවියන් හා නිලධාරීන්ගේ PCR පරීක්ෂණ විටින් විට සිදු කරනවා.
විශේෂයෙන්ම කරු කතානායකතුමනි අපි හැමෝම අවබෝධ කරගන්නට ඕන මේ බන්ධනාගාර ආඥා පනතක් තිබෙනවා.
We must understand that there is a prisons ordinance in the country. Several provisions under this law have been violated during the last few days. Some lawmakers said they had personally inquired and learnt that the unrest at the Mahara prison had broken out after consumer drug known as reverse. The parliament has not been informed on how 120 inmates are transferred from the Valikata prison to the Mahara prison in violation of COVID-19 regulations, leading to the formation of a cluster with 183 cases. The deputy director overlooking health-related matters of prisoners is a member of the Viatmaga movement. He had ordered the transfer of the inmates. We are not trying to politicize this situation, but that is the truth. That is why this cluster was formed ultimately, leading to the unrest. There is no room to commit a wave of murders in the country.
අපේ රට තුල මිනිමරුන් සංස්කෘතියක්, ඝාතන සංස්කෘතියක්, රාජ්‍ය ත්‍රස්තවාදයක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්නට කිසිසේත්ම ඊට ප්‍රස්තාවක් නැහැ.
And with that, we wrap up lunchtime news here on TV1. For more news, log on to our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First team, I'm David Paldano. Take care.